Welcome to the Sports Guys. Another NFL recap, another crazy week of games, including 3 games on Thanksgiving. How you doing, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Just had an awesome Thanksgiving, a lot of family time, ate quite a lot of pie, and really enjoyed a lot of football that day. And it was a football extravaganza over those 5 days.
We had a lot of fun because we were able to combine it with 3 games Thursday. Then we had a NFL game on Friday, which was a good game, and then we had all these college games on Friday, all these college games on Saturday. It was almost overload. And then of course
It was
Sundays.
unbelievable. We went to Dave and Buster's and the wall of TVs with every game on you can imagine. It was
Yeah,
sensory overload. It was great.
yeah, it was amazing. So themes you took out of the NFL weekend.
Parity.
Yep, I think that's
Parity
right.
was the rule, not the exception.
I mean, the NFL is built to have everyone kind of go towards 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, 10-7.
Yeah,
They
I
want
mean, the
everyone there.
question is, who's really, really good and who's really, really bad? Depends. I mean, depends on the week.
Depends on the week. Yep.
I mean,
And
are the Bills really, really good?
a lot of the
Depends on the
teams
week.
that are 9-3, 10-2, 11-2, a lot of those teams having great seasons. I don't think they're
Are the
very good.
Rams running away with the Super Bowl like they were saying last week? They just lost to the Panthers. So
Yeah. I mean, the Broncos can barely score and they're sitting at 10-2. I mean, you're right. They're
parity.
not really, there's no great team this year. There just
No.
isn't.
There's some good teams. There's no great teams. There's a lot of good teams and a lot of bad teams.
And then there's some teams that should be good but aren't great right now because of either injury or some other reason. Like the
Yeah,
Detroit Lions.
like the
Lions are
Chargers.
the Lions are very average. The Chargers are very average.
Yeah.
The Eagles are very average. A lot of these
The
teams that you thought
Packers
were
had a bit of a soft spot in their schedule
mhm.
there. They're not they won this week. They did well, but they haven't been great lately. So there's really
Chiefs.
just not many dominant teams at all.
The Chiefs are 6-6. Patrick Mahomes has never lost 6 games in his entire career. The Chiefs haven't lost 6 games for 9 years now. So
Hmm.
they're having by far their worst season in a decade. And
There's only one team, Tom, that's kind of dominant. The one team that hit 11 wins,
mhm.
Patriots.
Yeah,
And I don't think anybody's terrified to play them.
not at all.
So,
They're
but
good, but
they're not just beating teams though. They're whipping teams they're supposed to beat. You know what I mean? They're not just like kicking a field goal to win at the end. They're beating teams by 17.
so Colin Cowherd today had a couple theories I wanted to talk about as we do the lead in, and then we'll get into the scores. But one of his theories was, and you and I talked about this off air, that there are some programs because of the way they're built with their coach and their GM and their overall coaching staff that can course correct in midseason when they're struggling, and there's
Yeah.
some that cannot. And you're watching the Eagles look exactly the same way they've looked the whole season. I know they're 9-3, but they just look very feckless. They look very beatable. You're looking at Broncos offense that has rarely been explosive this year at all. They're winning games 13-10, and then and so these programs in some cases are unable to course correct. Whereas teams like the Packers, who had that soft part in the schedule you talked about, they've been able to course correct. They've been able to find a way to be more productive.
And
So
then there's the strange teams, like for instance, what's going on with the Colts?
yeah,
And I
they've
heard
collapsed.
funny analysis of the Panthers today,
Yeah,
about how they are elite against the elite teams, they're mid against the mid teams, and they're
yep.
terrible against the bad teams.
They
And
play whatever their competition is. Hmm.
yeah, and but the funniest part is how they play you tells you how good you are. because
Yeah, it's
because
funny.
if they're playing great, then you're a good team.
I had to
If
wear
you're
my Panthers jersey today because I mean, what a sweet win that was. That was their best win in 5 or 6 years. So yeah, they won two,
Dolphins, baby,
4 in a row,
Dolphins.
4 in a row.
Yeah, we're getting it done a little bit.
Yeah, and you have these, so you have strange teams like that. Then you have, some other up and down teams. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who everyone wrote off a couple weeks
The
ago,
Rams.
and the Cowboys had now ripped off three in a row, so they're looking really
Yeah.
good. The Rams, I
The
was about to put
Eagles.
them in the
What are
Super
the
Bowl last
Eagles?
week. Eagles are they just look like trash some weeks.
Would you bet your
So
house on the Bears?
the Bears are the number one seed in the NFC, and the Patriots are the number one seed in the AFC, and no one would have predicted that before the season.
Bears have to be the most beatable number one seed I've ever seen.
Hmm. That's right.
But they're
So yeah,
winning. They're winning. It's just they're beatable.
so you know what the theme you picked, which is parity, that's really what it is. It truly
Yeah.
is. And the teams that get into the playoffs are going to edge their way in, most of them, and they're going to be close to 10-7, 9-8, maybe 11-6. That's where they're going to be. And the teams that come in 8-9, 7-10 aren't going to make it. That's just how it is. But
Hmm.
they're all really close. They all can beat each other.
But now there's talk about Drake May being, um, an MVP,
Hmm.
and the Pats are hit 11 wins. They're probably going to go on a losing streak. You know what I mean? If
Probably.
if this consistency, if this is consistent with what's going on in the league, they're due for a losing streak.
But here's the second point he made that I completely agree with. He said, look, the old days of it takes me 3 to 4 years to rebuild in the NFL are gone. No one's going to
Yeah.
accept that anymore because you have a Patriots franchise that was a dumpster fire for 5 years and had no talent on it at all, no weapons. And in 1 year, Vrabel comes in, takes this very young quarterback who we knew was going to be good, but we didn't know he'd be this good. And in one season has turned them into the best team in the AFC. So the whole it takes 3 to 4 years to build. That's not going to work anymore.
But
If you
Drake
get
May
the
was
coach
given
right, if you get the coach
Drake.
right and you get the quarterback right, you can be good the next season in the NFL.
However, getting the quarterback right and treating him right are two different things. Picking the right guy is one thing, and most of these quarterbacks are the right guy. But if you throw him into the fire and put him behind the Bengals offensive line or something, you're never going
Mm-hmm.
to get Drake May in his current form. But what you had was Patriot quarterbacks in there. It started with Cam Newton, and then, you've had some quarterbacks kind of letting him develop on the sideline, and then he got his shot, and now he can protect himself. He's not doing this Jackson Dart thing where
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to take on every tackler. He's ready.
So here's a good question for you. Would you rather have a culture builder CEO type like Dan Campbell or Mike Vrabel who can turn your program around in 1 year like that? But the question is, can they sustain it over a long period of time? Those are the culture builders. And then second, would you rather have the brainiac play caller guy like, Sean Payton or
Andy
like
Reid.
like Shanahan or
Andy
like
Reid.
Andy Reid or like even McDaniel, those kind of guys that are the brainiac types, but maybe not quite the culture builders. Which one would you rather have for your franchise?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. What I would say is, how much time do you have? Because if you have time, you want to go with the Brainiac. If
As
you
you
need
just
it,
heard, you don't have time anymore in the NFL. You don't have time. You
you
got to
need
be
no,
good by
but
the next.
but some teams do. Like if you're with the Steelers, you have time. They don't fire their coaches. They've had 3 coaches in the last 40 years. So if you have some coaches go to a team and they're allowed time to turn it around. Look at Bill Cowher with the Steelers. He was with them the longest time and they finally got there. But he was given lots and lots of room to build and to
What
develop. So
what's the
what I'd
difference?
rather have is time to develop and Andy Reid. But if I don't have time to develop, I'm going with Dan Campbell or those guys.
Because guess what? There's only like two or three in the whole league that are both the play caller guy and the culture builder, and Andy Reid's one of them. And another guy who is the guy who joined the Chicago Bears, McDonald.
We'll
He
see.
is he's a brainiac play caller kind of guy who's
Yeah, but I don't know
taking
if he's a
field goals.
culture builder. We'll see.
He is. I mean, he's ripping his shirt off in the locker room. I mean, these guys
I
love
know.
him. They'll go through a
They
wall.
love him.
So I think he is both, and I think that those guys are rare. That's obviously what you want is a guy who has both.
Yeah, well, no
Qualities.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sirianni is not a play caller kind of guy.
Mm-mm.
The reason he can't get them out
And
of
he's
their
not a
rut
culture builder. I think he has a lot of good leaders in that locker room that kind of do a lot of the hard work.
the reason he can't get them out of their slump this year is because he's not that brainiac X's and O's guy. That's what they need.
Well,
They need
they had
somebody.
Steichen
I
and
know they couldn't keep him.
he
Yeah.
left. So yeah,
Hmm.
it hurt him.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious. You guys drop us a comment. Would you rather have the culture builder or the brainiac guy? Obviously, you'd rather have both, but if you had to choose,
I think
I
it
think
depends on how much time do you have to rebuild.
I think I'd go culture builder, and then I'm hoping the culture builder gets the best OC in football. That's what I'm thinking. Well, let's dive into the scores, Robbie. Here we go.
Do it.
Let's start with a call out tonight for tonight's sponsor, and that is DraftKings. DraftKings has been a longtime partner of ours, and we love working with them. And I really have enjoyed playing with DraftKings this entire football season. It's been a lot of fun. I have had varying success every weekend, but I've really enjoyed their interface. You can bet as little as $5. You get up to $100 match when you first sign up for DraftKings and deposit money. How you doing, Robbie? What do you think of DraftKings?
Great. Love DraftKings. I do the low end betting myself. I really enjoy doing games that I think are interesting and base it on whatever knowledge that I have about the game and the matchups. I certainly think they do an awesome job. They're real trustworthy. They're easy to very user friendly. I love the way their graphics are and their setup, and they always have cool specials sometimes. So I enjoy it. It's sort of like one of those fun little dabble hobby things, and I really appreciate their support of what we do here. And they're an awesome partner and really good group.
What do you think about the juice it adds to the game? I mean, it really gives it that
It
little
does.
extra. I don't know what percentage it is, but it definitely, makes you watch it a little bit closer.
I have a little rule that I don't bet on games that I care about, meaning I love one of the teams or something because it sort of skews my analytical abilities sometimes. But for the most part, it's really cool to really analyze deeply who's playing well, who's healthy, what kind of momentum there is, what matchups look like. There's so much cool stuff, and they give you this platform to see if you're right.
It's really true. And, it gives you that same feeling that you get when you get with fantasy football. And of course,
Yeah,
DraftKings has daily fantasy football. They've got weekly, they've got the entire season. You can play fantasy football on them, or you can just place bets. So, whatever you would prefer, go check out DraftKings.com or download their app and deposit today. Have a
check
good
them
one.
out.
We're calling this episode On the Edge, and it's on the edge because, like you talked about, Robbie, the theme of the week is parity. And you have all these teams that are right there in the middle. There's very few really good teams and very few really bad teams. Everyone's just kind of okay, either a little bit good okay or a little bit bad okay. So we're on the edge when it comes to playoffs. You see the top four quarterbacks here are on teams that are trending up. Obviously, Caleb Williams with his new coach. They're the number one seed in the NFC if this season ended today. You have Matt Stafford, who at 39 years old is playing his best football. He set an all-time NFL record this year with 28 straight touchdowns without an interception until he ran into the Panthers this week and threw two of them. But that's a
Yeah, that was a
record.
weird one.
That record's going to stand for a while. That's a really tough one to do. You have the Patriots with Drake May, the number one seed in the AFC right now. And then you have Bo Nix, who's on the team that has the best defense in football, which is the Denver Broncos. So those four teams clearly are going to be in the playoffs, and all of them are going to make some noise for different reasons. And then the four teams on the bottom, you have Jalen Hurts, who's playing the worst football of his career, and the Eagles are really struggling on offense, and their defense is really keeping them in games. You have J.J. McCarthy, who in my opinion, they've kind of faked two injuries this year to try to pull him out of the lineup because he's just not ready. He just
I
looks
don't know
like
about that.
total deer in the headlights and has been really bad. And then, of course, this past week, we'll talk about Brosmer, but he was kind of thrown into the fire in a bad situation. Then you have Aaron Rodgers, who got really battered this weekend. And the Pittsburgh Steelers offense looks very much in reverse right now. They can't do very much, can't run the ball. He doesn't have a lot of weapons. DK Metcalf's not getting open. And Aaron Rodgers looks like he has the yips. He's throwing the ball really early if he sees any kind of pressure. So he's not letting the patterns develop. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who has 6 losses in a season for the first time in his career, and is looking like pretty certain he's going to miss the playoffs for the first time ever. So what are your thoughts about these 8 guys and what they represent, the guys on the up and the guys on the down?
Well, Stafford, I would say, generally is up. They had a bad week against the Panthers. Panthers played out of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about faking injuries for JJ McCarthy. I think that that's a leap that we don't have enough evidence on. But he's definitely had a disappointing season. He's been pretty bad. And Jalen Hurts has been disappointing. I think that his salary is prohibitively expensive. So they can't keep building new players around him. So they're kind of stuck with what they got. And then you've got some
But
injuries on that
Rob,
offense.
preseason they had the number 1 rated offensive line coming into this season, and they're not blocking like it. I mean, they
Yeah, but
can't open
but
running
they're
holes.
getting a little old.
Yeah,
Honestly, they're a little old.
right. Because I mean, Barkley's
Um,
having an abysmal season.
yeah.
So yeah,
Knicks, they're winning games. It's not pretty. Uh, and I think this talk of MVP for Drake May is a little bit premature, but I think that he is having a great season. Don't get me wrong. And then
he's going to get some votes.
Caleb's doing a nice job of he's coachable right now. He's listening
Mhm.
to his coaches. He's doing the right things, and his team's rallying together, and they're getting team victories.
Do you
It's
know
not
he is
because of
really?
Caleb Williams. He's playing his part, and it's partly because of him, but it's partly because of a lot of different elements of the team are doing their job.
I've been really impressed with his development this year because he's now winning games in the fourth quarter. He's been great late. And secondly, he is really hard to bring down. I mean, a lot of the defensive linemen they pulled this year, who's the toughest guy to sack? And a lot of them are saying Caleb Williams. He's really powerful. And so, he's taken to the coaching, like you said. It looked pretty bad in preseason. Like he and McDowell were not getting along very well. And they've come to some kind of agreement where they're on the same page and playing really well.
Well, it's interesting that Caleb's getting all the credit when their running game has dramatically improved.
Sure.
So, so that's a huge part of this. I mean, from a defensive standpoint, you were counting on overwhelming Caleb Williams, oversensitizing him with different looks and blitzes and strange behaviors that are going to confuse him. But he's handing the ball off, and they're scampering for 10-yard clips, and they're running it down their opponent's throats. So, and their defense is playing well, which they haven't always. So this is a new development too. So the
Mhm.
team they're getting team victories, and Caleb Williams is getting the credit.
Right. That's
I'm not
true.
saying he's not doing a nice job,
He is
but he's
playing well,
getting
though.
all the credit, and he deserves a piece of the credit.
He's definitely playing well. I've been
Yep,
impressed. What about
I agree.
Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers experiment? What went wrong? They had a really nice start to the year, went out 4-2, and now it's looking more and more like they may end up with a slightly losing record, which would be Tomlin's first in 15 years. And
I don't
they
think
just,
they can run the ball effectively enough, and they don't have enough big chunk plays, and they're just
mhm,
counting on one wide receiver, DK Metcalf, to beat double teams all the time, and they just don't have enough weapons.
I agree. And their defense has not been great this year. It's just been okay.
Yeah,
Um, so they're really slipping. I don't know. I like I told you before. I've been a big admirer of Aaron Rodgers over the years. I think he's been one of the better quarterbacks in NFL history. But
sure.
this year, he really has the yips. He does not want to get hit. If there's anybody coming, he just throws it away immediately. So he doesn't let any kind of patterns develop.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do with that. He's got the yips. And then
Play
Mahomes
through
is
it.
in a
Got to run the ball.
situation. Mahomes in a situation where he's going to have to run the table and win the next 5 games. And there's 2 or 3 of those games that are against the Broncos. So,
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
what's your take on the Chiefs and what's missing this year? What is it about them that?
Well, just I don't think people understand how hard it is to repeat, you know? And I just feel like there's no such thing as dynasties anymore in football. And we're trying to look at them in the dynasty format. And they're about as close as you can get, but they're going to have age and salary problems and things creep up. I think they slipped a little on defense this year.
Well, that's what's happened. So what's happening is
Yeah,
he's actually leading them to 28 points a game for the most part.
yeah.
The offense has been pretty effective, and their
They had to
defense
let some of their players go on defense because they couldn't afford everybody.
their defense cannot get off the field. They just can't get anyone to punt. Everyone picks up third down every time. So it's what is the difference between winning all those one-score games last year and losing them this year. It's really
Yeah,
the difference. Is this past week they had their opponent in 8 different third and longs, the Dallas Cowboys, and they picked all 8 of them up. They're 8 for 8 on third down conversions. So you're not
yeah.
going to win a lot of games if that happens.
Mm,
So looking at the scores, the Packers pick up a big win on Thanksgiving. This was the first game we were treated to, 31-24, and this was in Detroit. I thought the Packers played particularly well. Love played really well with 4 touchdowns. They ran the ball decently, which they hadn't been doing much this year, but Jacobs got going, and they were in Goff's face a lot in this game. They made him
yeah,
very uncomfortable. The running game didn't get going with Jahmyr Gibbs like it had been. And of course, they didn't get any production from St. Brown for the most part and relied on Williams to get most of their yardage. What's your takeaway from this game, and are you concerned about the Lions?
their star was Jamison Williams. Goff actually played really, really well. Look at his stats. But he was under a lot of pressure. He was 20 of 26 for 256 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He had an 85.7 QBR.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a close game, and it just came down to Love threw 4 touchdowns, and they
Mm-hmm.
they just kind of overwhelmed him a little bit.
What did you think of Dontavian Wicks in this game? My
He was
goodness,
incredible.
what a
I mean,
game!
every time I looked up, I was saying, "Oh, guys," telling the boys, "This is Dontavian Wicks. He went to Virginia." And then a couple minutes later, he's catching another touchdown, or and
Yeah,
so they zoomed in on him, which was cool.
that
But
was.
I think Detroit's defense really struggled.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't getting a lot of pressure, and they gave up a lot of chunk yardage, and Dontavian Wicks went off.
Right. Yeah, I feel like the Lions and the Chiefs have the same problem this year. They're not getting to the quarterback. They're not getting the pressure that they did last year. They're not getting off the field. They're giving up lots of third and fourth downs. And then the score reflects it. They're giving up a lot of points. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're right. It wasn't really mostly on the Lions offense in this game. It was mainly on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think their defense was softer than I've seen it, and um, you got to tip your hat to Jordan Love. I mean, I don't want to give him all the credit,
Yeah.
but he certainly looked very competent, very calm. He was a good leader, and
And you can see the tagline here. Jordan Love had plenty of time to pass and took full advantage. And that really, I mean,
yeah.
that's true. The Lions didn't get pressure like they usually
Another
do.
thing that was interesting too is Green Bay was 3 for 3 on fourth downs,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lions were 0 for 2. That's
Right.
the team that prides himself on always going for it wasn't very effective on fourth down.
They haven't been good this year for the most part on fourth down. And that's, like
Yeah,
you said, that is their staple. So,
I'll say this, that Green Bay's offensive line looked really solid,
mm-hmm.
really, really strong.
So the
I
Lions
haven't
have
seen them
worked.
look like that.
The Lions have worked themselves into a position now where they are not in the top 7 in the NFC, and so they're going to have to maybe not win out, their last 5 games, but probably go 4-1
Yeah.
to try to get in. So
If there's a team that can do it, it's them, but
they
it's
have the
not as
capability. Yeah,
it's not as good looking as it was.
right. Yeah, they've dropped a couple games here that I didn't expect. So we'll see if they can do it, just like the Chiefs. Speaking of the Chiefs, they go down 31-28. Like I said before, I didn't think that Mahomes and the offense were particularly bad in this game. I thought they actually played pretty well, but Prescott and the Cowboys were just better. I mean, he's got two number one receivers in CeeDee Lamb and in
Offensive line played well.
yeah, exactly. And in Pickens, he has Pickens and Lamb, and he was just going crazy on them. They got some running going. The defense made a couple more plays, but for the most part, this was kind of a shootout between these two very good quarterbacks.
Yeah,
So
I mean
what's
it was a really close game.
anything you see in the stats here that gave the Cowboys the edge?
Um, so Dak was fantastic. Um, but then again, so was Mahomes. Mahomes had 4 touchdowns.
I know he was very good.
Um, I would say
Like I said, their offense is not their problem right now.
CeeDee Lamb had a really good game. That was his best game in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, the Cowboys got 3 sacks. Chiefs got 0.
Mm-hmm. Some
And
of
of
these
course,
trades that they've made, including getting Quinnen Williams, who's a really good player, they seem to have worked out pretty well for the Cowboys. They're stuffing the run better,
yeah.
and they're
You know
getting
what else
pressure.
too is Brandon Aubrey is a difference maker.
He's
He's such
unbelievable.
he's such a weapon at kicking the ball that
He is.
they hit. He was 3 for 3 on field goals and 2 for 2 in extra points. So that's 11 points that your kicker makes for you that would have been 0 points.
Right.
That's more
Absolutely.
than the difference in the game. So
What's amazing is that both of these teams needed this game really badly because both of them are on the outside looking in. And even after this game, the Cowboys are not in good shape for the playoffs.
yeah,
But they're playing really well. And, one of these teams is going to try to make a run here and try to rattle off a bunch of wins in a row. We'll see which one can do it. Cowboys offense certainly is playing fantastic.
yeah. The Cowboys have won 3 straight since Marshawn Nealon
Yep.
passed away.
Hmm.
They're playing very inspired football, and I know it seems a little cliche, but the truth is they have been very inspired by him, and they were touched by his passing, and they they're
It's
they're
true.
they're going out there as if they're possessed by a motivation that nobody saw coming.
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was sad for Nealon, thinking, well, that's
Those
really
kind of things
tragic.
can really rally a team. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, yeah, they're rallying more than I thought they would have.
So that was game 2 on Thanksgiving. Game 3, you and I got to watch together that night, and that was Bengals taking down the Ravens. The Ravens looking like a shell of themselves from
Yeah,
previous years. And that's what's so strange about this season is that you have a lot of the powerhouse teams that we're used to seeing, you know, sitting at 10-3 right now are all really struggling and looking like they might miss the playoffs. And the Ravens are no different than that. And they run up against Joe Burrow, plays his first game of the year, and he looked fantastic.
he's
And
amazing.
and the Bengals
He's
defense,
my favorite. Like,
I know.
yeah.
I thought the Bengals defense was pretty good in this game. They came up with a couple big turnovers. And so, what is your take on this one?
Burrow was the difference, and the Bengals defense, much maligned, got 5 turnovers from the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
That was your difference. Burrow on the offense and the defense getting 5 turnovers.
And Jamar Chase doesn't hurt.
Jamar Chase doesn't hurt.
Man,
Did you see the video of Jamar Chase making fun of the equipment guy who brings out a jacket just for Joe Burrow?
no, but
He
it
said,
doesn't surprise me.
I want a jacket.
I want a
You don't have
jacket
to
guy.
just, yeah." He said, you don't have to just do the premier guy on the team." And the guy's like, no, 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 I do everybody. And he's like, no, you don't. You just do just Burrow.
Man,
So
they do look
that was funny.
they do look so much better with Joe Burrow. It's crazy. Like a
Yeah,
different team.
no
Yeah.
question. He's
Yeah.
the best quarterback in football.
What do
They're
you
gonna
think?
give they're gonna give the MVP to whoever's hot, probably Drake May. But you know who deserves it is Burrow because when you remove him, they become the Bengals, and when you add him back, they look like a playoff team. So
But then also, I've been very frustrated with the Ravens for a couple of years now because they have this kid called Derrick Henry on their team. And sometimes they use him and sometimes they don't. And they really didn't use him much in this game.
yeah,
Like, I cannot understand any scenario why you don't give him 25 carries in a game against the Bengals. Just don't get it. And then
no,
I've never seen Lamar Jackson play the way he's playing right now. He looks
he
scared.
looks lost,
He looks
right?
lost. He's throwing balls into the ground. He's overthrowing people. He's throwing picks.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what's
There's
going
something
on.
wrong there. If we
Yeah,
find out later that he was playing injured, I won't be surprised because
right.
he doesn't look right.
He
Kind of
doesn't.
reminds me of Daniel Jones, same thing.
Hmm.
Although we happen to know that Daniel Jones is hurting. He has a
Right.
lower leg injury that he's suffering through.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, impressive win by the Bengals. Ravens on life support when it comes to the playoffs. I don't know how they're going to pull themselves out of it. The
We'll see. I don't
Bears,
know.
in very impressive fashion, beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, 24-15. It didn't even feel that close. And you had this epic Ben Johnson taking his shirt off in the locker room afterwards, and it's gone completely viral around the world. And now
It
everyone's
was
saying, "I'd
pretty
like,"
cool, man. It was
yeah, and
pretty cool. That
they're like, "I want to play for that guy."
yeah.
So it was really a big moment for him in his first season in the
Well,
league.
they got to celebrate with him and all the adversity they've gone through, and it was kind of a release of pent up frustration.
Yeah, that's right. And these guys will run through a wall for him now when they
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah,
You
I
know,
think so.
what's your take on this game? How did the Bears pull this off, and what's wrong with the Eagles? I know I've asked that every single week, but there's got to be
So
some.
the Eagles, I think they overpaid for Hurts and they've overexpected too much from Hurts. So they think, well, Hurts is our quarterback, so we're all set on offense. I don't think Sirianni's a great X's and O's guy. Um, so he can't really fix it. And their defense shows up some weeks and not others. So they're very inconsistent.
Mhm. Yeah, we had a couple weeks in a row there where Jalen Phillips was in the backfield on every play. And then other
Yeah,
weeks, Jordan Davis and Jalen Phillips kind of disappear. They find ways to block them. And this was one of those weeks. They didn't do much.
yeah. And also you got to tip your hat. I mean, Menangai,
Yeah.
um, he's running like a madman. He
He
ran
is.
for 130 yards,
Hmm.
and they have a lot of nice players on there. One of them is one of our favorites, Olamide Zaccheaus. Uh,
Zacchaeus. Yeah.
they got
D-
tons of weapons. Cole
DJ
Kmet,
Moore. Love DJ
DJ
Moore.
Moore,
Hmm.
and Rome Odunze. I mean,
Hmm.
they have weapons. And here's the deal: Menangai and DeAndre Swift both ran for tremendous numbers.
Hmm.
Um, Swift Swift ran for 125 yards. Menangai ran for 130, and they both got a touchdown.
Hmm.
So that's a stampede,
It is.
you know?
And no one talks
So
about the Bears defense, but it's getting
yeah,
better. Getting better every week.
playing decent, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so my notes on this game, time of possession 39 uh, minutes and 18 seconds for Chicago and 20 and 42 seconds for Philly. So just about two times as much possession.
So who do you think is more vulnerable, the 8-4 Eagles or the 10-2 Broncos? Because they both feel like they're just very limited on offense and have good defenses.
I mean, I would say the Eagles, but I think you got to knock them off before you can really say they're
Hmm.
not still the champs. So I'd say that who I don't trust more is Denver, but I don't
Hmm.
know. But
I think
I'll tell
we
you,
both
there's
have a lot.
no. I hope I don't make anyone upset out there, but there's no fan base uh, that misbehaves more when their team's not winning than the Eagles.
I know.
I mean,
They-
They were booing. They were booing at halftime when they were only down by like 3 or something.
Right.
Wait, what were they down at
10 to
halftime?
3. It was 10 to 3 at half.
They're down
Bears.
7. Yeah. They're down 7 at halftime and they're getting booed off the field. And at the end of the game, the offense coordinator for the Eagles, his house got egged.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I mean,
it's insane.
I wouldn't want to coach in Philly.
No, I wouldn't either. You know what's interesting is Mike Tomlin 2 weeks in a row now has gotten booed off the field, and that hasn't happened in a long time. He's been there
Yeah,
16 years.
I know.
He got literally booed off the field.
I know. You know what's interesting there? He said, I don't blame the fans for booing.
Hmm.
That's how bad we've been. So,
It wasn't good.
yeah,
I think the Eagles are in big trouble. I know they're 8-4, but they are not trending in the right direction right now.
yeah.
And I don't think they, just like Colin Cowherd said, I'm not sure they're a team that knows how to course correct mid-season.
But I'm
So,
tipping my hat to the Bears.
yeah.
200 plus running backs, coach that is managing Caleb Williams really well,
Hmm.
tearing his shirt off, creating culture in the locker room. You got Caleb Williams who's really learning to control himself and
Lots
not
of
hold it too
weapons,
long.
weapons all
They're
over
doing
the
a
field.
lot of things right, and so that
Hmm.
leads to wins, and
Hmm.
winning cures everything, you know.
It does.
So the
9-3
Bears,
now.
you got to tip your hat to the Bears. They're doing it.
Never thought I'd see them at 9-3.
I
That's insane.
I don't think they go far in the playoffs or anything, but they're
We'll
gonna
see.
get there. They're
They
gonna
might.
get there.
So the 49ers take down the Browns 26-8. This was the second start for Shedeur Sanders. 49ers just looked like a totally professional, classy team, really well coached. All their offensive stars came out. Purdy played pretty well. It wasn't asked to do very much, but Kittle had another big game. Christian McCaffrey scored. This just didn't feel like a match, between a really well-run organization and a very poor organization. So what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was that Purdy looked Purdy looked close to
Better than
elite.
better than last week where he threw 3 picks
Yeah.
against the Panthers in the first
He
half.
looked almost elite again, but he didn't do it for
Yeah.
that many plays. He was 16
Yeah.
of 29. Shedeur played nicely. He had a good game, not terrible. He only had a 16.1 QBR, but he was 16 of 25, 149 yards and a touchdown. He held himself well, but Cleveland just doesn't have much firepower.
They just
I
don't
like their
have any.
running backs, Judkins and Sampson. Those are
Yeah.
rookies, though,
Yeah.
and I think that they need a little bit of time. Um,
Like you
and
said, they
I
don't have
think
enough firepower, and they can't compete with a team like the 49ers. Even with that defense, they can't.
I don't love their wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, Harold Fannin is your top receiver.
Right.
Jerry Judy's,
Do you think that Shanahan should get some Coach of the Year votes? And the reason I say that is this
yeah,
guy has taken this team that no one has been as banged up as this team is. And they're sitting at 9-4, and they're clearly going to make the playoffs. And most teams would have folded a long time ago with all the injuries that they've had and all the weeks they didn't have Purdy. So do you think he deserves some possible
no
attention for
question.
Coach of the
Yes,
Year?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. They're getting a lot of wins. They look pretty elite, actually. I would say they're probably a top five team, probably
Hmm.
five, six,
Hmm.
top 5 or 6 team, because they're pretty balanced.
Right.
They've had a tremendous amount of injuries on the defensive front, on the defense with Warner and Bosa, not
They
Bosa.
have been very lucky, though, even with all the injuries. Christian McCaffrey has stayed healthy this year, which
Yeah,
anytime he does, you have a good season because he's
no
just that good.
question.
Yeah.
He's a difference maker. When you have
Hmm.
him out there, you look good, and when he's on the bench, you have too much capital wrapped up in one person.
He's so dynamic running, and he's also a huge part of your passing game. So he's
Hmm.
just really huge for them. Yeah. So they go to 9-4, really good win there. Jacksonville Jaguars take on the worst team in football, the Titans, who seem to get worse and worse every week. It's just so sad to watch, Robbie. It's so sad. They
Yeah,
can't
it's
move the
tough.
ball. They can barely get a first down. So, and they made the Jaguars look like an AOC contender, which I personally don't think they are. But They end up going to 8-4. It's looking like they're cruising towards the playoffs. Anything you can take?
They were one of my teams that I said was going to be better this year.
Mhm,
And I don't know if I'm just getting lucky by saying that, but I really felt like it. I felt like there were weapons there now, that there are pieces in place that could lead to some winning. I don't
mhm,
think they're going to go far in the playoffs or anything, but I did feel like they were going to make the playoffs. They were one of my dark horses to make the playoffs. And as of right now, it looks like they might.
mhm.
But certainly
Absolutely.
I'm not buying stock or anything. But yeah,
Right.
the Titans are terrible. But the Jaguars division is terrible. So
It is
I
terrible.
feel like that's that's to your advantage when you don't have a hard path to get to the playoffs.
Everyone thought the Colts were running away with that division when they went out to this huge record, 6-1, and then now they've been fading and fading and fading, and they've let the Jaguars back into it. They've let the Texans back into it. I don't know who's going to win that division now, with the Colts fading the way they are. So it's
I
not a good
think
division, and it's just.
it should be the Jags or the Texans.
I think so. I think so. The way the Colts are playing right now. Speaking of the Colts, they take on their division rival Texans, who are really hot right now. One of the hottest teams in football, the Texans, especially because their defense is so good. And they beat the Colts 20-16 in Indianapolis. C.J. Stroud probably has his best game of the year, although he did have a pick. Jonathan Taylor had a decent game, and Nico Collins continues to be one of those top 10 receivers. So, what's your
Yep.
take on the Texans and their hot streak going on right now?
Well, the Texans, it seems like um, they're kind of they're kind of like the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good young quarterback and a stellar defense, and they're
I
just
think.
putting together these low scoring games.
Don't you feel like those are the best two defenses in football, Broncos
Yeah.
and Texans? Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yep.
Their defense can keep them in every single game. They're that good.
Hmm.
So
And Stroud's playing nicely. So
playing a little
um,
bit better. Yeah.
it seems like, and Chubb is running the ball. He's been a
You know,
little bit
Stroud.
missing in
I would
action.
say they've got Chubb coming. He's getting some touchdowns. They've got a really good tight end. Of course, Stroud uses him all the
Yep.
time, and they've got Nico Collins. So they got some pieces in Houston. I still feel like they're a couple pieces away from being a real contender. But defense really, really solid, and they have a defensive coach.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the Colts? Why do you think they're fading towards
I
the
don't
end of the
know.
year?
It's kind of hard to say. I know that Daniel Jones is nursing a lower leg injury. I think it's a calf, but it could be an Achilles. I'm not sure. But it's affecting his throwing, I think. And I think that they're coming down to earth a little bit. Sometimes you can get too high your expectations. I think that they're playing a little rougher schedule, rougher part of their schedule, and people are figuring them out just a little bit. So
How do we go from 3 weeks ago they were going to be the number one seed to now they're fading and fading and fading, and people are talking about they might miss the playoffs? It's like literally it's gone that bad in 3 weeks.
that's how it is in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
It's just so much parity.
When they had Jonathan Taylor getting 200 yards a game, obviously they were almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
What do you think they can do to get out of this swoon that they're in right now?
Um,
Sometimes you just got to win a game, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you got to find a way to win it. I mean, Steichen said it. He said, we lost another close one that we feel like we should have won. And he said, it's a nightmare. We just
Right.
keep losing these close games.
Hmm.
I know what he means. It
Yeah.
would almost be better at this point to get blown out than to lose by 3 or something.
Oh, that's right. By the way, he's an amazing coach. Every
Yeah.
team would take him.
Yeah.
So,
He's good.
if they can get a win or two, they're going to be able to pull themselves out of it. Your Dolphins, 4 in a row. They went up to a 1-7 record. Now they're 5-7. What a turnaround midseason after they fired their GM.
Yeah.
Played the Saints. I will say the Saints didn't give up, and they actually had a really nice comeback going in the fourth
They did.
quarter. If they
Little
had
bit
a
of a
couple more
comeback.
minutes, couple more minutes and the Saints might have won this game. But take on this game.
So Shane getting 134 yards. He's one of the top three backs in football, I think.
For sure.
Total weapon. And they're playing well as a team. They got rid of some players, and it seems like it brought them together. They got rid of some of their stars, and I mean they're playing great. They're running the ball for the first time in a long time, which is extremely long overdue. They're not asking Tua to do too much because they're running the ball, and Waller's ending up being a really good pickup for them. He's playing well consistently.
I have him on my fantasy team. I love playing him.
Yeah.
So what do you think has been the turnaround for the Dolphins with the 4 straight? I mean, they have played some pretty bad teams, so you have to be fair about that.
Accountability. You get rid of the GM, that tells you no one's safe.
Yeah.
And then they trade Jalen Phillips, and they're dishing some people out there. So
And they start doing what you've been asking them to do for 3 years, which is to run a Shane.
run the ball.
They finally start doing it.
Yeah.
And they're making a lot fewer turnovers than they did beginning of the year, where Tua was trying to do too much.
That's right.
He was trying to take the whole thing.
It's a much better game plan.
Well, congratulations to the Dolphins for this turnaround. They're not going to make the playoffs, but this is nice to see.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It would take some kind of weird meltdown.
Right.
But I'm just glad seeing them competitive. They weren't competitive the first half of the season.
Me too. It's true. So the Falcons find a way to lose with Kirk Cousins to the Jets. I don't understand the Falcons this year. You and I both thought they were going to be a little bit better, and they might even be a fringe playoff team.
Inexplicable.
They fall to 4-8, and really nothing's going well except for Bijan Robinson, who had a really nice game. Had a really nice game, but Kirk Cousins doesn't seem to be the answer.
Mooney's having a good season.
I will say the Jets had some really nice defensive plays in this game. Their defense stepped up a couple times really nicely. So what is your take on these two teams?
Well, like you said, Bijan is a star. He's probably the best running back in football. And he's kind of a one-man show out there. Fitz had a nice game. And Mooney had an okay game. It seems like
I never heard of this kid Mitchell for the Jets. He had a really nice game. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I looked at it like, if you look at the highlights, there were some pretty fun plays in this game, and so it was kind of enjoyable. But it's just really two really bad teams. Someone's got to win.
Yeah. And you could tell there was a lot of frustration. Like, man, we're bad, but we're playing another bad team. If we're ever going to get a win, it's today.
That's right.
We got to fight and scratch and claw for this win.
That's true.
That's what it seems like.
100%.
But Nick Folk, it was pretty cool. Nick Folk hit his 56-yard game-winning field goal.
Yep.
He's 41 years old, and what was interesting, I heard, was Aaron Glenn is the coach of the Jets, and he was actually on the team when Nick Folk came in. So they've been teammates before.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's why he gave him the game ball.
Very cool.
Aaron Glenn gave Nick Folk the game ball because his old teammate won the game for them. That's pretty neat.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So obviously Kirk Cousins, this is the first year in his career he's been a backup. And it looks like he's permanently going to be kind of that solid backup kind of person. He probably won't get another big contract, I would think. What is your thought about?
I bet his wife's kind of happy about that. A lot less chance of him getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The future is, I don't know. I'm not sure about that because you have such a finite number of years. You don't want to spend them out on the bench if you feel like you should be a starter.
But he wants to play. That's what's funny is when you see him
Yeah.
interview, he wants to play. And Penix blowing out his ACL for the fourth time.
Well,
You
let's
have to
face
really
it,
wonder about Penix.
unless you're Patrick Mahomes, whoever you are as a backup quarterback, you're probably getting time this year. I
That's
mean, look
true.
at the two in this game, Tyrod Taylor versus Kirk Cousins. I mean,
That's right. It's so
go
cool.
down the list
Yeah.
of backup quarterbacks.
Have you ever needed a backup quarterback more than in the current NFL era? I
Ask
don't think.
Minnesota right now.
Yeah. You need like 2 or 3 quarterbacks really
Yeah, yeah.
to be
You
insured
need
in this
two.
league.
You need them. Here's the thing. You need them at different levels of experience,
Mhm.
you know? Um, in Cleveland, they were idiots because they got rid of their two veterans and they were left with two rookies.
Mhm.
And rookies can't teach each other.
It's true.
So what they should have done was keep um, your veteran, keep your middle guy who was what's his name from Pitt and played with Pittsburgh last year.
Pickett, Kenny Pickett.
Pickett. They should have kept Pickett and Flacco, and then decided which one of those two was better.
Right.
Shador and what's and uh,
Dylan
or
Gabriel
or Dylan Gabriel, and keep one of those guys as your third guy, and never let him see the field this year.
on the
And
practice
then at
squad.
the right, and then at the end of this year, that's when you get rid of one of your veterans. You keep who you're going to keep,
Mhm.
and then then you start to move. Let whoever the rookie that you decided on, let them slowly take the job from Flacco, probably.
No doubt. So next game, Buccaneers beat the Cardinals. This was another Jacoby Brissett effort. As I've told you before, I think he's a really good backup. He's a solid kind of low-level starter if you need him. He's played really well this year, I thought. Bam Knight had another nice game, but Cardinals, they just don't have enough this year to get wins. Every once in a while they'll get one, but Buccaneers
I
find a way to
actually
scratch this one out.
I watched a lot of this game. I didn't feel like Brissett played very well, and I would agree with you that he's looked decent this year.
Hmm.
But I didn't think he looked great in this game.
Hmm.
29 of 40 is not terrible. It's throwing the ball too much. Two touchdowns and an interception, 301 yards. Not bad,
Well,
but
when
it
they
didn't look
lost
that good on the field sometimes.
David Johnson in week 3, I mean, that's their engine, and they haven't been the same since. They've been a passing team since, essentially. He's a huge part of their run game. And plus, they have these other receivers they got to get the ball to, like Trey McBride, who's fantastic. So,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they're
Bam
a
Knight's
passing
coming.
team. Yeah.
Bam Knight's coming along pretty nicely. He had
He's been
11
good.
of 62 rushing, and he had 3 for 36 and a touchdown receiving.
He's been very good.
He's,
The
he's
Bucks
yeah.
in this game, they've been fading the last couple of weeks. They really have. They've lost some really close games.
Yeah.
And you could tell in this game that there was a little bit of desperation because they feel the
Well, they
Panthers.
got Bucky Irving back, and I think
Yeah,
he's their premier back. I think they're so much better with him
they are.
than
But
without him.
they feel the Panthers breathing down their neck now, and they hadn't won a game in a while. And so it just felt like this was a desperate situation. They had to win this game at home.
I just really feel like Bucky Irving's a huge part of this offense.
Hmm.
He's become that over the last 6 months.
So they find a
And
way to get it done. Baker has
yeah,
not been playing as well as he had early in the season, but he's scrappy, and the team's scrappy. So they find a way to get it
yeah,
done. So Rams go down to my Panthers. Man, what a game this was. The Carolina
that was a
Panthers
crazy one.
played their best game in 5 years. Their defense had a pick six, and they had another interception, and they ran the ball well. They had two backs who had huge games in Hubbard and Dowdle. And their wide receivers, Jalen Coker and Ted McMillan, had huge touchdowns. And it was just an incredible effort. It really was. The
Ted
Rams,
McMillan looked elite.
fantastic. And so did
Yeah.
Jalen Coker, really. So
I'll tell you, it's true. He had a really nice touchdown.
what's your take on this one? I mean, Rams coming into the game were considered the best team
So
in football.
so this is exactly what I'm talking about with the joke that we heard on sports radio. However good the Panthers play against you is how good you are. So if they play amazing against you, then you're a great team. And I think that's what happened. The Panthers played out of their mind and caught the Rams sleeping a little bit. It broke their 6-game win streak, which means that mostly things have been going right for them, but they got a little caught here. And let's face it, um, the defense for the Panthers was really opportunistic.
Played
Got
really
three
well.
picks. Yeah,
Hmm.
they got 3 picks on Stafford, and Young got 3 touchdowns. So
Hmm.
he looked fantastic. So
You did.
it feels like the Panthers really do hold true to playing down to your competition or up to your competition.
What's interesting is you're exactly right. That's what they do. They play to the level of the competition. I will say they just went to 4-2 at home, and it hadn't been since the 2015 season with Cam Newton where they had such a good home field advantage. They seem to be really good at home this year.
Yeah.
And so any of the games in Bank of America Stadium, they're pretty tough to beat. So congratulations to my Panther fans. And what a great game. And
Surprisingly, Stafford had a 26.1 QBR rating.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't great. Although
That's a surprising.
he had 2 touchdown passes, but
Yeah.
not his best game, that's for
Yeah, but
sure.
he had 2 picks too. So
Yeah, that's
anytime you
right.
give the ball away, that's tremendous.
Yep.
But I mean, the Rams did well in their a lot of their stat categories. They
Hmm.
just couldn't quite. Third down though, 2 for 5. 5 third downs. That's not very much.
Hmm. And we hadn't seen a game like this from Chuba Hubbard all year, and it was really nice to see him break out, have a
Yeah.
really good game. So congratulations to the Panthers. This game was absolutely pathetic. I don't even know what to say. This was the return of the Vikings to go play their old quarterback in Sam Darnold. They didn't even ask Darnold to do very much in this game. The Seahawks just had the Vikings on complete lockdown. We're getting pick sixes all over the place, sacks, and it was just kind of sad to watch. I actually feel bad for the weapons on the Vikings offense.
Yeah. I mean, it was pitiful. It was the first time the Seahawks have shut out an opponent in 10 years,
Hmm.
and they looked incredible. And a lot of that just speaks to the condition of Minnesota right now. They're lost in space.
Do you think they have
Rossman
to
looked
blow it up?
really lost with 4 picks. He had 4 interceptions.
I know. Brosmer took a real beating in this game, and he did not look good for his first start. So, do
Yeah,
you think they
no.
have to blow up the Vikings, or are they just a quarterback away? I mean, do they need to go draft somebody? It's clear they made a colossal mistake because they had both Darnold and Daniel Jones on their roster last year.
Yeah.
And they just made a
And that
complete.
and that speaks to what I'm talking about. A lot of these teams are getting rid of these veteran quarterbacks to make their rookie or their second year guy feel better. But that's not how you get better. You have to be solid in your quarterback room, and you have to
Mhm.
have a nice balance of youth and excitement and energy and experience and veteran presence. And if you
Mhm.
don't have both things, you're not balanced. You're gonna flip out when things go wrong. And I think that's what's going on in Minnesota.
That's
They're
true.
panicking.
So it's interesting. We thought the NFC North was going to be the best conference this year, going to be the best division in the conference. And instead, when you look at the NFC West now, you have the Rams at 9-3, the Seahawks at 9-3, and the 49ers at 9-4. So,
Yeah.
what a
I didn't see
division
that
that
coming,
is.
honestly.
I know. It's amazing. So, any other take on the Seahawks right now? Because they look really good.
Um, yeah, I mean, the Seahawks definitely played well on defense. They had a pick six, and they just they kind of whooped them a little bit. Like the score maybe not even as imbalanced as the talent level was. I was pretty
Yeah.
impressed with the Seahawks, and I haven't been falling into the train
Hmm.
of them being this, juggernaut team that a lot of people have been talking about. But
Hmm.
I really,
I've been more impressed with them than you have. That's for sure.
I'm
Mhm.
more impressed with them now than I was.
They have a two-headed monster at running back with Walker and Charbonnet.
Yeah,
Darnold's playing out of his mind. Smith and Jigba is a top three receiver, maybe the best receiver in football this year.
I agree with
And
that.
they have a really good defense too. So
He's
I
a
don't know.
huge reason why, and Jigba is a huge reason why they have this success that they're seeing right now.
Think about how many teams in the NFL this year, Robbie, have both a good offense and a good defense, or top 10 in both. It's very few, very few. And the Rams are one of them. The Seahawks are one of them. So,
The
those are
the
the teams.
Vikings are on a 4-game skid.
I know.
It's
They're
pitiful.
really struggling. Yeah, really,
My
really
thing, my
struggling.
question is, how long do you go with Brosmer until you have to try
That's all
something
they have.
else?
That's all they have. They say that JJ's not ready. So
I
this
know, but
game
what
was,
else do you have on your practice squad? I mean, you got to have something
yeah,
else.
I don't know. So this game was pretty wild. The Bills Steelers we thought was going to be a really great match, and it kind of started that way with the Steelers up 7-3 at half, and looked like they were going to make this a game. And then the Bills came storming back in the second half, blew them out. Rodgers got really battered; he had a bloody nose, and they couldn't run the ball. They couldn't complete a pass. The Bills' defense looked like barn burners, and Josh Allen did just enough. James Cook had a huge game. So, what's your take on this one? Is this more about the Bills or the Steelers?
I think it's a lot more about the Steelers. I mean, they're not very good.
Yeah.
They're not very good. The Bills are what they are. They're a good team that looks bad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a great team. They're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And when they ask Allen to do a lot, they lose. And when they run James Cook like they did here, they win. He
That's
had
right.
32 for 144 yards rushing. That's a lot.
It is
And
a really
he
good game.
was 3 for 33 receiving. He was a weapon, and they used their tight ends nicely, and they Cook and Coleman and Gabe Davis all had catches, and so did
Mm-hmm.
Shakir. They've
Mm-hmm.
got weapons that are decent, which you know,
And
um,
their defense had been struggling the last couple of weeks, and it looked pretty good in this game. So I don't know if it's more about the Steelers' offensive line's really battered right now because they look really
Keon
bad.
Coleman has been out for a couple weeks, and I think it's disciplinary. They never said what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was injury related. I heard him saying on the radio that it was like
Yeah, I think that's
coach's
right.
choice or whatever. Um, but having him back kind of gave him a little bit of a boost, and Allen definitely wanted to make a statement and do his thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Allen Allen had a good game overall. He got his 76th rushing touchdown in his career,
Mm-hmm.
and 49 times he's thrown and run for one. 49 times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty spectacular if you're going to be
It is
honest about it.
100%.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the Steelers' offensive line? It's not very good right now. It's been
Nah.
getting whipped every
Yeah,
week.
they can't run the ball. They got Jalen Warren, who's their running back, who you would think would be effective all the time, but the only time he really does anything big is down on the goal line. He's a pretty good goal line back. He's always in the end zone when they get him down there. But he ends the game with 35 yards rushing. That's just not good enough for your premier guy.
That's true. Yeah. Well,
So the
congrats to the
Bills
Bills.
defense looks fresh.
They get back on the winning track there. So the Chargers take on a really bad Raiders team. The Raiders, I think they've
Yeah.
lost like 9 in a row now or something. And the Chargers are pretty battered themselves, and they had been kind of up and down. But this is just what the doctor ordered with a 31-14 win here. This kid Vidal keeps coming on in light of the
Yeah,
first two
he's
backs coming
good.
in. He is so good.
He looks really good.
Yeah. I will say Brock Bowers had a really nice game. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 really nice catches. So
He
obviously
had an amazing catch.
yeah, he's an elite player. Obviously, he's
In
about the
fact,
only.
there were 4 incredible catches in the NFL this week. I thought, it's funny. I was watching some games over Thanksgiving and stuff, and I saw a bunch of really athletic interceptions by cornerbacks. Diving backwards, snaring the ball, like high pointing cornerbacks. And then on Sunday, I saw 4 amazing catches,
Mhm.
one-handers.
Well, the one-hander by the Commanders receiver was the best catch of the week. There's no
Yeah,
question about it. What
that
an
was
unbelievable.
insane.
Yeah.
That was insane. Um, there was which running back was it that I think it was Pittsburgh. He leaned down and snared it right off the ground, right before it hit the ground
Hmm.
as he was coming out of the backfield. And then there was the one-handed catch for the Commanders
Hmm.
player, and just a lot of really good catches. But Brock Bowers' was legendary.
Incredible catch. Yep. Incredible.
Yep.
He's such a great player. So, thoughts on the Chargers winning this one?
Um, I commented on how amazing the catch was, but from Bowers, so we've already talked about that. And Herbert had surgery on his hand yesterday,
Hmm.
so he clearly wasn't quite himself, and that's a big win for them. Um, when he hurt his hand and he needed surgery, but they said he's not going to miss any time. But I
Yeah, I
think
saw the
the story is Vidal. He's consistently
incredible.
good now.
Yeah, he's incredible. And Quentin Johnson's been really stepping up more for the
Yep.
Chargers, and Lad McConkey has been stepping
Yeah,
up. They've been
McConkey's
getting more.
good too.
They got
Yep.
some receivers that are young that have been really starting to step up. It's interesting. I saw the Jim Harbaugh interview today talking about this win for them and also the Herbert injury and how great he thinks Herbert is and that he doesn't think he gets the love he deserves. And he was saying that he's just so incredibly tough,
Hmm.
6'5", and he's just this big, lanky kid. But he said there's nothing that's going to be able to keep him out of these games. He said, I don't care if he has surgery. I don't care what it is. He just has this warrior mentality that
Right.
he just absolutely loves. You can tell he really
Well,
admires the kid, you know?
no question.
Yeah.
I will say though that it's helpful when it's not on your throwing hand.
Right.
Certain amount of luck involved in that injury.
I mean, it's the same one with Rogers. Rogers has a slight crack in his
Yeah,
left wrist he's playing
yeah.
with.
He's
So
playing with a cast on.
a lot of these guys are playing injured right now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good win for the Chargers there. So this game was
Really
just
good.
absolutely bonkers. I was supposed to go to bed much earlier than I did. I ended up watching the whole thing, and it was back and forth, back and forth. I was very proud of the Commanders and how they played. They really played tough. They're still very competitive, even though they're having a very bad season, essentially without their quarterback. And they took the Broncos down toe to toe all the way to the end into overtime, and then decided to go for a 2 point conversion to win it, which shows and reflects the fact that they're having a bad year. They're clearly out of the playoff race, and they decided to go for it, and they didn't get it. So they go down 27-26 in a really entertaining game. So, what are your thoughts about this one?
It was entertaining. I found it amazing when I looked at the stats that they were so imbalanced. Neither team could run the ball. They both threw the ball way too much. Bo Nix was 29 of 45 for 321, a touchdown and an interception. And Mariota was 28 of 50. 50 times he threw it, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So, but no running games to speak of. Harvey had 35 yards, and Mariota was the leading rusher for Washington at
Mhm.
55. But Chris Rodriguez was the next best at 41 yards. It's just not good enough.
Yep.
You're not punishing the defense. You're not wearing them out. You're not running the clock out and controlling things. You
I
got
will
to
also
establish
say,
the run.
I'll also say that Mariota threw a really bad pick that hurt them a lot towards the
Yeah.
end of the fourth quarter when they were driving. They were down in the red zone. It was just a stupid throw. So, to be honest with you, having watched every play of this game, the Commanders should have won this game. They really should have. They had multiple opportunities to
Yeah.
do so.
Yeah, it
And
was pretty nauseating watching Benito knock down that 2-point conversion,
mhm.
but not surprising, I guess.
Yep.
I mean,
So,
it'll be nice when they get Jaden back, but maybe this season might be lost.
yeah, well, it definitely is lost. I
Well, it is
mean,
lost, I should say.
getting him back, he's going to come back, and they're going to try to win a couple more. But for the most part, they're going to get a high draft pick this year. So, Broncos escape with a narrow victory, one they should have lost, and they go to 10-2 now, and they're really in the driver's seat in the AFC with the New England Patriots. So really, that was a really entertaining game. So speaking of the Patriots, on Monday Night Football, they take on the Giants. This was the return of Jackson Dart. Drake May just looks calm, collected, looks like one of the top 3 quarterbacks in football this year. Plays fantastic. They run the ball well. They play really solid defense. Hunter Henry. You have Travion Henderson, all these guys. They make some really great plays on special teams, including a big return. The Giants try really hard, but just don't have enough to get over the hump, and the Patriots go to 11-2. So what's your takeaway here?
The Patriots are the first team to go to 11 wins. That's very significant. They're beyond that lucky stage of sneaking wins through. They're kind of blowing teams out um, relatively easily. And Drake May is playing just so fantastic. There's a lot of talk of MVP, and it's worth considering for sure. On the other side, Jackson Dart just comes back from protocols, and he's running along the sideline, and he gets obliterated. He gets absolutely knocked way out of bounds, and it starts a scuffle. But it's kind of speaks to the undisciplined nature that the Giants are playing with right now. In addition to that, Abdul Carter was benched at the beginning of the game again for
Mm-hmm.
being late. So
Yep.
they need a if you look across from the Giants, who are sort of self-inflicting wounds all over the place, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
unwise play that leads to injuries,
Mm-hmm.
headbutting people and this and that, like it's fun and funny, but it's not long-term sustainable.
Mm-hmm. That's
The
right.
Giants had to be looking over at the Patriots, who have a general on their side, keeping order, having discipline. And the Giants have to feel like, man, that'd be nice to have him in our building, where we would have more structure and more
Well,
accountability.
how do you think the Titans feel by looking at Vrabel
Yeah,
turning this franchise around like
yeah,
this?
exactly.
Yeah, amazing.
But he teaches discipline, and he his players fear him just a little bit, but they like him. And it's pretty interesting to see the contrast between a team that has lots of talent but is spiraling,
You know what
and
really
another.
impressed me in this game was a lot of the throws he was making to wide receivers that I've never heard of before. And I know almost all the players in the NFL. The Patriots just seem to pull guys off the practice squad, and they come in and they make 6 catches for 80 yards. They just, I don't know
Everyone
what it
does their
is. It's
job,
a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. Everyone they put in succeeds.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It is a culture thing. It's a team building exercise, and it starts with the coach.
Hmm. It does. It does. So they're in the driver's seat now in the AFC with the Broncos right behind them. So congrats to the Patriots. Our fantasy football wrap up of the week. Believe it or not, Patrick Mahomes was our top quarterback scorer, even though they lost. So you and I talk about this and joke about it all the time, Robbie, that fantasy football success does not translate to the field in
Oh
terms
yeah.
of wins and losses. Jordan Love was 2, Marcus Mariota with a losing effort. It's 3: Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, Dak Prescott, and Tyrod Taylor. And what's funny about Jacoby Brissett, he's almost always in the top 5 or 6 fantasy quarterbacks, and always loses the game. So, that just tells you that what you want is a guy who just throws all the time, essentially.
That's right.
Any surprises here?
I'd say Bryce Young's kind of a surprise.
Mm-hmm. He's had a good couple weeks. He had one
I would
down week.
actually think Dak would be higher, but
Yeah.
even though I'm not the biggest Dak fan, I just
What surprises me, and this has happened 3 weeks in a row in fantasy, is that about 8 out of 9 or 8 out of 10 of the top guys in fantasy are all on the losing side of teams.
Yeah.
It's really surprising. Most of
that's
these
weird.
guys lost this week. So wide receivers, A.J. Brown with 37 points, also in a loss. Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, they were feeding him the ball as much as
Yeah.
they could, but I
Right.
think that's partly why they're not good now is they're having dissension in the ranks and they're having to feed him the ball even though that wouldn't naturally be part of the offense.
That's right.
So I think that definitely hurts them.
So Rasheed Rice with 30 points, also in a loss. Jamison Williams, 28 points, also in a loss. You see a theme here. Dontavian Wicks comes in 4th with 28. Adonai Mitchell with the Jets. That's the guy I told you I had never seen his name before, but had a pretty good
Adonai
game.
Mitchell, yeah, he was
Yeah.
with the Colts.
Yeah.
They traded
He's
him
pretty good.
or cut him.
Pretty good. CeeDee
Crazy.
Lamb, Vele with New Orleans. He's the other guy who they say is really coming on for them. Terry McLaurin, really nice to see him back. It was his first game back in quite a while. And Devontae Adams had a nice game.
Yeah, for sure.
So Donnie Mitchell's the only one that surprises me here. Maybe Vele as well. Anybody for you?
Yeah, Valley or whatever. Yeah, I never heard of him before last week. But Adonai Mitchell, I've heard of quite a lot. He was with the Colts. I can't remember if they cut him or if they traded him. But
He's had a nice couple weeks for the Jets, I'll tell you.
he's a good receiver.
So on the running back side, Bijan had a huge game in a loss. Vidal is really coming on for the Chargers. We talked about him. DeAndre Swift for Chicago. They had that two-headed monster in that game. James Cook, another great game. Shane Singletary. R.J. Harvey, the ex-UVA Cavalier, keeps coming on for Denver. That's really cool to see. And then we had a Monangai. You talked about him as the second guy for Chicago. What a running game they've got right now.
Yeah.
And then Chuba
And that's
Hubbard.
why Caleb's getting all the credit, but that running game is the reason.
You got Monangai and Swift in the same backfield.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Swift's been injured and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm looking here to see how many of these guys are on pulling guards. Yeah, you got quite a few.
Nice. Insane.
Yeah, nice. Jared Goff, CeeDee Lamb. So here's what the playoff picture looks like, Robbie, in the NFC. This is the standings right now. You got, if it ended today, the Bears would be the number 1 seed. I can't even believe it. Rams would be 2, Eagles 3, Bucks 4, and the Bucks would win the NFC South. The Seahawks, Green Bay, and the 49ers would be your 3 wildcard teams. And then you have the Lions, Cowboys, Panthers. Those 3 teams are on the outside looking in, trying to get in. So what's your take on this current playoff situation?
Biggest surprise, I think, is the Seahawks and the Lions. I think as bad as the Eagles have looked, they're in pretty good position.
Yeah.
They're not in a bad spot. Considering they've had a lot of problems.
It's true. I don't
I
know.
have to think the Lions are going to move up.
We'll have to see if they can squeeze up in there somewhere, maybe knock the Green Bay Packers out. I think the Seahawks and the 49ers are both going to be wild card teams. I don't see that changing the way they're both playing right now. So the only thing the Lions can hope is that they find a way to get past the Green Bay Packers. Or they hope that the Panthers come up and knock the Buccaneers out of first place in the South. But I don't think that really helps the Lions at all.
Mm.
So I think the only team they can truly pick off realistically is the Packers. But we'll see. That's why that game was so devastating for them on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's right.
So out of these three, who do you think is the most likely to get up in there?
I mean, I'm going to say the Lions, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to have a rough ride. Um,
There are 2 games behind the Eagles. It's possible. It's definitely possible. But
it is possible, but they have at Detroit, Minnesota, and the Chargers.
I think the Panthers have a chance too. They've got a bunch of winnable games coming up here.
Yeah,
Um, we'll see, man. This is going to be fun to watch as we get closer.
we'll see.
That's why we talked about the theme tonight is on the edge. Let's look in the AFC. You have Patriots, Broncos sitting at top. You got Jaguars, Ravens, Chargers, Colts now dropped to 6th, and Bills sitting in 7th as a wild card team. And then pushing them in the back is Texans, Steelers, Chiefs, and Dolphins. So thoughts about the AFC in kind of a wild open situation?
I think the NFC is better. Um, I think the Patriots are still slowly winning me over,
Yeah,
but I
they're good.
think it's time to start taking them a little seriously.
Can you believe the Ravens are up in there after their 1-5 start? It's pretty
No,
amazing to see.
it's hard to believe.
Yeah. And the Steelers have found a way to blow that division. It's actually really a bad division now.
It
you
is.
got you got Browns, you got
Cleveland,
yeah, you got
Cincinnati
Cincinnati
with Burrow goes
Bengals,
out every other game.
right? This is going to be really fun to watch, guys. We will be tracking this for you guys to see who ends up getting over the top here in the next couple weeks. So one thing Robbie wanted to quickly talk about 2 big soccer events that are coming up. The first one is this Saturday is the 2025 MLS Cup final game between 2 really famous European footballers. You've got the Inter Miami with Messi, best player in the world, and you have the Vancouver Whitecaps, and their top player is Thomas Muller, who was a really great German player and has won 2 World Cups with the German team over the years. So you have this really exciting situation with these 2 guys that are absolute legend, Hall of Fame type players playing each other in the MLS Cup final. So I think I'm going to watch some of this game, Robbie. What are your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
I think it's a good showcase for the league,
Yeah, it is.
for the Cup.
They're very talented players.
Yeah. And they both have a lot of history. They both have World Cup rings, which is really cool
Yeah,
to see. And now they've come over to end their careers in North America. So
that's great.
really good prelim for the World Cup next year too, which is coming in. Speaking of the World Cup, after that great game, we've got Friday. So just in 3 days now, guys, we're going to have the final draw of what the groups are going to look like next year in the World Cup. The World Cup is going to take place in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. There's going to be games in all 3. And you can see what the pot looks like on our side with USA. We've got
It looks
Mexico.
devastating.
I know, Mexico, Canada, Spain,
Spain, France,
Argentina,
England, Brazil, Portugal,
Argentina,
Netherlands,
Brazil, Germany.
Belgium, Germany. It's like
I know.
pot one is ridiculous.
I know. I was like, that's not, we're supposed to be the home team. We're supposed to get an easy
I
draw.
mean, who's the worst team in there? Canada?
Probably.
Yeah, everyone else is
And
good.
you got Portugal,
The
Netherlands
US and Canada are the weakest teams.
by far. By far. So What are your thoughts about the draw on Friday? It's going to be noon on Friday. They're going to show all the different groups coming out of it. It's going to be pretty fun to watch, I think, and see what's going to
Group
happen.
of death has to be coming out of pot one, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens. There may be a way
got to
to
beat the
scramble
best.
this up a little bit. I think they may find a way to make sure the USA, Mexico, and Canada are not in the same groups, that they're all in different groups. So maybe this will end
Yeah.
up scrambled in some way because they do it somewhat randomly. So I'm really excited about the World Cup. I love the World Cup. It's a great
Yeah,
event,
same.
and the fact that we're going to be playing at home, I want to see how we do. So
Next summer.
yeah, summer 26.
Nice.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Our memes of the week, Robbie, you mentioned this. Bryce Young had his best QBR ever in the game against the Rams. So I don't know why he steps up in these big games, but he does. That was pretty cool to
I don't
see.
either, but I like it.
I love this meme. Rush Hour, Dowdle and Hubbard, like it's the movie Rush Hour.
Yeah.
But we talked about this all the time on the Sports Guys. That is that anytime you've got the two-headed monster like the Seahawks have and like the Bears have and the Panthers have, it just gives you a huge advantage. Keep these guys fresh. So what's your take on that Rush Hour theme?
I mean, I think that they're committed to the run. They're very nervous about just turning the ball loose for Bryce Young. They have been. So it's been incentivized to them to run hard. They keep the tandem going so that everyone stays fresh, and
I
they're
mean,
a
and
phenomenal
because
running team.
and because they have these backs, look what they're allowing Bryce to do. He goes 16 for 20 for 206 with 3 touchdowns. That's like the perfect scoreline for him. You're not asking him to throw it 40 times. If he threw it
Right,
40 times, he'd have 3 picks. You know what I mean?
right.
So, yeah, it's just it's a really good situation for him to have these two great backs. This was interesting. Jackson Dart started the year as kind of the hometown All-American boy, and all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, he's starting to put on leather and like he's getting all Joe Burrow. He's wearing the sunglasses. This says Jackson Dart showed up to Monday Night Football wearing the jacket Richie April gave to Tony Soprano. So, what do you think it is? Do you think it's just these guys want to get street cred on Monday Night Football? Like, what is it?
I don't know. I think
Why do they
it's
change?
you become independently wealthy. You start thinking about your attire
Why
and
don't
your
you just stay
style.
the Why don't you just stay the All American boy? I mean, that's
These
okay
guys are
too.
these guys are building their brand, and maybe he thinks it's more exciting to have some mystery and some, you know, I don't know,
But
coolness, I guess.
you don't have to copy Burrow. He's got his thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not criticizing. I just think it's funny that in one season he's already changed. Into Mr. Runway. So the NFL season is so wild that heading into Week 14, the number 1 seed Bears have 9 wins. The number 7 seed 49ers, barely on the fringe of making the playoffs, also have 9 wins. So this is what you talked about, Robbie, the parity.
Yeah, right.
The number 1 and number 7 seed have the same record.
And it's wild. The Niners are banged up on defense,
I
but
know.
offensively they're pretty healthy, and this is the first time in years when they've been healthy.
These two guys should both get votes for Coach of the Year, McDonald and Shanahan, I think,
Hmm.
for what they're doing for their teams. The Giants are out here doing things the Jets haven't even done. That's pretty funny. What did you think of this kick, man? I mean, it's totally
I
viral
mean, at
today.
first I thought it was crazy, and then when Koo was interviewed, he said, and if you look at the ball carefully, he's right. Um, the base of the ball started to slip out.
But you still have to try to kick it, don't you?
No, absolutely. His reaction was strange, but you try and kick it if you can, if it's slipping out, but he messed it up. Like he definitely messed up. It's just I didn't realize it looked to me like it was a perfect hold. It wasn't.
Hmm.
So in that way, probably would have missed anyway, honestly, if he had gotten it up.
It
So
was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I've been watching a lot of football for a
same.
long time. Yeah. Never seen anything like that
But
before.
looking at the hold close up, it was sort of wobbling and sliding out a little bit.
So this is kind of funny unless you're a Vikings fan. Vikings fan watching JJ McCarthy's performance last week. That was the worst QB performance I've ever seen. And then it's down below. That was the worst QB performance you've seen so far.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, the poor Vikings. I can't even imagine how
yeah.
they're feeling
They're
here.
bad. They're bad.
Just how bad was the Vikings' performance against the Seahawks? It would have been statistically the worst offensive game in Jets history if it were the Jets and not the Vikings.
Yeah.
So, even worse than the Jets can do. So this is, you talked about this, Robbie. The top two MVP odds in Vegas right now are Matthew Stafford and Drake May.
Yep.
So do you think one of those two will win it, or do you think someone might come up in the last 5 weeks and steal it away from these two guys?
It's hard to say. I think the team that makes the most sense, that's going to keep winning, and therefore their quarterback gets the rewards, is Stafford.
I agree.
But man, New England, they're a legitimate contender. So I don't know.
He's got a real shot, Drake May, I think, in his
Yeah,
second year. I really do.
he
I
does.
think it's likely one of these two guys wins it, but there's a couple of other guys on the fringe who could step up in there. But I think likely one of these two will win it. So on my first thing I look at here, Robbie, I think to myself, the last 7 years have been won by one of three guys: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. And I'm thinking to myself, where are these three guys?
Yeah,
They're not even close. So
they're on teams that need to rebuild or something.
really interesting year. So the Denver Broncos are the most fraudulent 9-game win streak in league history. This is what we talked a little bit about how they're squeaking these games out barely.
Yeah.
So any take on that? Are they fraudulent? Are they for real?
It's kind of their style, so I think they can keep replicating it. It's not like they're lucking into all these wins for the most part. I think their defense just keeps it close. Their offense is told, don't lose it for us. Don't throw the ball to the other team and just
When your defense is
protect the
that good
ball and
and you
we'll
can
figure
run
it
the
out.
ball, yeah, then you're
Yeah.
always going to be in a close game. Always.
But they're not great at running the ball.
I guess you just keep trying to win by 3 points, you know?
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right. So our subscriber challenge of the week, guys, here it is. Which team or teams, you can give multiple, will miss the playoffs? So, Robbie, take a minute here. Think about it. Which team or teams, it'll probably be multiple, are going to miss the playoffs?
I think the Ravens and the Panthers.
Okay. I think the Cowboys, the Ravens, the Steelers, and maybe the Colts. I think it's looking more and more possible the Colts might miss the playoffs because they're getting overtaken in their division. And probably the Chiefs. So there's probably like 5 out of these 8 that will miss the playoffs. I think the Chiefs will too. So, guys, drop us a comment who you think out of this group is going to miss the playoffs. So, Robbie, I'm going to hand it to you, man.
Okay, let's do it. A couple weeks ago, we did our NBA recap, and that was really a good episode. You should go check it out if you have an opportunity. Um, Cavaliers and Nuggets in the finals at
That
Real
was
Estate Investments.
that was a great episode.
Yeah. What do you think, Cavaliers and Nuggets? That's out on a limb a
Uh,
little bit.
you know what? That is very possible. I could see the Cavaliers finally breaking through this year, and Nuggets is a possibility. Um, I kind of like OKC, but I think
Yeah.
OKC is
No,
kind of
you're
untouchable this year. Yeah.
yeah.
Nuggets are
Okay,
possible.
next one. Another fire episode. The breakdown of the season was on point. That was from Alex Lon.
Wow, thanks, Alex. Yeah, we do our best to break it down for you guys and make sure you get all the accurate information and our take on it. So
And it was really good having Cole on to give us his
it
information.
was. It was.
Next one, episode 88 delivered big time. The predictions, player insights, and commentary were absolutely top tier. Keep pushing out this quality content at Doherty 69.
Thanks, Doherty. Yeah, we will keep doing it for you. We put out as much good content every week as we can. It's been obviously a little easier in football season with a lot of great content every week, almost too much for us to handle, but we will keep doing it.
Yeah. Next one is episode 90 is a masterpiece. Legendary recap. Same, Doherty 69.
Oh, wow.
Thanks
I
for
think we have
keeping tuning in.
I think we got a new fan, man. Hey, Doherty.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we appreciate taking the time to give us feedback. One of the craziest comeback weeks in NFL history, and you covered it flawlessly. At Adam Smith, 19.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, we did our best. That was a good episode. That was a lot of fun. When you have a lot of upsets, it gives us a lot to talk about. So
Yeah.
we have
Yeah, we
we
had
have
a
fun
lot
with
to talk about.
upsets
Sure.
and or near upsets in that week. So
Yeah. A lot of weird halftime scores.
yeah,
Um, the editing, the energy, the breakdown, everything was perfect. Another banger episode. That's from Motherhood 9.
wow, motherhood.
Kind of
Thanks for
cool.
joining us, man. And we're trying to give you bangers, and if you think they are, that's great.
Yeah. And that is the mailbag.
Well, Robbie,
So
this week
Tom,
we don't have Thanksgiving Day games, but that's okay. We still have a big lineup of games coming up.
yeah, we're turning our attention to all the things that are coming at us in the sports world. We certainly have Christmas coming up, which kind of brings us to our new thing we're launching. Um, we've got a new site where we've got our merch out there. A
Yep.
lot of cool stuff on there. We've been very pleased. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we're going to show you guys the page real quick, and then I'm going to drop this link down in the description down below. But let's go ahead and show you what the page looks like here for a second. So, Robbie, you had the idea for this. You want to talk to us a little bit about your idea here about providing merch to the people? I know we've had people requesting it for a while now, so it's been pretty cool to put together.
Yeah, a friend of mine works with this company, and he does online gaming, and just has enjoyed it a lot. They've been really, good quality stuff, easy to deal with, uh, reliable, and good products. Really good choices on stuff. So he said, check them out, and I did, and I was kind of amazed actually. We've got a really good deal with them, and we're very pleased with their merchandise, and we're proud of it. It's so with Christmas coming, keep it in mind. If you know that somebody out there is a fan of this program, or if you are one, you can pass it along to your loved ones. We got a lot of cool stuff. I didn't
I'll
want to.
tell you, there are a lot of things on here, Robbie. I want to order for myself
I
with our
know. I
logo on it.
mean,
I love this packable jacket. It's such a cool idea.
we've got some stuff on there that's really cool.
And
So
then this duffel bag's awesome.
yeah, yeah, we're definitely gonna get one of that for our equipment for when we take um
I actually ordered this mouse
Sports
pad today.
Guyz
I
cameras
ordered
and
this
stuff
morning.
to on
Mhm.
site.
Yeah, yeah, perfect for that. The
Winter
mouse pad I
coming,
ordered.
the beanies and the hats are amazing.
What do you think of the beach flop hat?
Sweatshirts, beach hat. There's a really cool. I think the next thing I'm gonna buy is there's a really cool tie-dye T-shirt.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I thought that was
I
neat.
think I'm gonna get
You
one
know,
of those.
what do you think of our pin collection for collectors? That's kind of neat. We have all
It's
of our
pretty cool.
logos on there, all the
Pretty
different
cool.
logos, including our old one. So kind
Yeah.
of neat to have that collectors. There's your tie-dye shirt. If you like
Yeah.
tumblers, we have this really killer tumbler. How cool is that? It's a wrap
Yeah,
tumbler.
it's got a microphone on it.
And we got jogging pants, which are basically sweatpants. These are really nice. You can use winter or summer whenever you're working out. Got this really nice fitted hat. I kind of
Yeah.
want that one. Comes in different colors. Got a couple different types of t-shirts here.
Bottom line is a ton of cool stuff. I'm definitely gonna get that sweatshirt, I think.
That hoodie is
Ton
awesome.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
hoodie. Definitely
Yeah.
check it out, and we appreciate the support and you guys hopefully you'll get some cool products.
Yep. And I did this for you, Robbie. I got you a Samsung cover. So if you want to go Samsung cover, there's also Apple cover here. We got a
Nice.
lot of great products, and Rob and I are planning to just keep putting new stuff out here almost every week. And so as you guys lead up to Christmas, there's a lot of great gift ideas out here for your loved ones. And go check it out.
Yeah, there's a lot more products coming. We've got our eye on some other things. This is just really the first launch of it, and we're already off and running, so
Yeah, pretty
very
cool.
pleased about it, and we feel good about it.
I was thinking that wine tumbler would be cool, even for beers on the beach. So,
Sure.
yeah, check out our new merch store, everybody. And guys, thank you so much for your patronage. Again, we can't thank you enough. Every time we get a new subscriber, we celebrate. Every time we get these comments Rob reads on air, we celebrate. And all the likes, all the subscribes, we just can't thank you enough.
Yeah, it's so good to hear from everybody. It's fun to put these together, to do the research, to watch the games. We're just having a blast, and we love the platform. We're so grateful that people come along with us on our journey. So keep checking back in, stay with us, keep commenting. Check out our merch store.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, have a fantastic NFL week. And we'll see
Yeah.
you next time on the Sports
Don't
Guys. Have a
forget the
great one.
subscriber challenge.
Yep. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great one.
See you. Take care, guys.